Hey y'all, it's me, Christian Jackson. I'm taking my braids out while I break down Unprisoned. It's a Hulu show. It's literally my life in that Paige is a licensed therapist like me with daddy issues. Yep, I'm the daddy issues therapist. I wrote the book on daddy issues. I define for you what it is and what to do about it because we don't need to have all this negative stigma out there about daddy issues when really it's emotional trauma. So I help you treat it just like that. You can also insert mommy issues, which is a thing. Some people come at me about that too. All right, now if you haven't got to see the rest of my breakdowns of episodes 1 through 5, then it's time for you to get into it. Pause, go back to my page, figure it out. I want to know. Let me know in the comments what you think about Unprisoned. How are your daddy issues being triggered? Because I know mine have been triggered for sure. So super excited about what they brought to the table so far. They're going to wrap up so many cool things in these last couple episodes. I feel it in my bones. It's already so well written and it hits everything so that it's not like therapy and hitting you in the head and super heavy, but very light and just gives you a glimpse of just things to think about. I mean, it's amazing. If you're watching this already and you're like, this ain't me, I don't act like that, then lean into that. That's denial. Okay, let's learn something. Let's do something different, okay? Ooh. We're going to get to learn a little bit more about Papa in the South. Come on to the South, baby. The water's good here. Racism is still rampant, but the water's good here. Come on, Negressence. Okay, so Negressence, the process of becoming black. Now I gotta talk about mine. I have not always been proud or okay with being black. It just seemed that, of course, with me being in good old South Carolina, that white was better. White was right, okay? We are the first state to secede from the Union around Civil War time, so you can imagine what I'm dealing with down here. Yes, and it's still 2023. But as a kid, I was a smart kid, and so I was in all the AP classes or like the alert program and the magnets and all the things, right? Are you surprised? But that was hard because guess who was the token girl? Guess who was the Ruby Bridges of the alert program? Okay, I basically integrated the alert program in second grade. I was the only token. Now, not to minimize what Ruby Bridges did for us, right? But I can feel her when it comes to feeling all these things, just different and kind of unsafe, but wanting to fit in and just wanting to learn when I was just as smart as those kids, right? Still am, right? It's hard to be the only token, the only black in a room full of white. At least that's my experience, right? So it was hard when I wasn't black enough for the black kids or white enough for the white. So the way that my blackness developed, of course, was not unique, right? I'm not the only one. I got older. I met my best friends in the 4th and 6th grade. We're still friends to this day. We all got to go through that together where we were called Oreos. We went through our systems of being like into rock music, trying to find yourself like you do when you're in middle school, right? But then also when I tried to go and talk to the black kids, it was like, oh, Christian, you think you might be smart or too smart for the kids. There were some kids that were actually rooting for me. Like I could tell they wanted me to do well because they didn't think that they could. Even that's a lot of pressure. And that's a whole different talk when you're a generational curse breaker. Lots of things going on. But I just want you to know that this is a really interesting concept. I don't know that we talk about enough. I think it's cool to talk about it now. I think it's okay and safe to talk about how we have our own experiences of becoming who we are as black people, as black women. But listen, even me loving my hair was a struggle. Okay, so yes, let's get into what this is. Pre-encounter, when you idealize the white experience. I didn't realize I was doing it. I'm gonna like go to school right now. Girl. Enter self-sabotage, okay? She don't want to respond to Mal, who is actually a decent boyfriend, someone that she's never experienced in an intimate relationship, probably ever, at least in a romantic relationship, and it looks so uncomfortable for her. Now, if you went and saw my old videos when I was breaking down episodes 1 through 5, you've seen how I talked about the discomfort we have when things are actually okay. The other shoe may drop. She was actually looking at Bill's picture before the end of the last episode, and so now we're like, oh, what is Paige gonna do? Is she gonna go back to Bill and let him use her because she's like wired for chaos? Or is she gonna challenge herself and literally make new brain indentions, meaning the new waves, a thing that every time we learn something, we put new waves in our brain, a new path, a new routine that your brain's familiar with. You can change that. It's called neuroplasticity. Okay, your brain is plastic, it can learn new things. So when you hear your man say, I'm too old to be doing this, I can't learn a different way, i.e., how I talk to you, how I treat you, or whatever, this is how I am, this is who I am, it's lies. If you try and you lean in, you can do something different. The second stage of negrescence, encounter, a conscious awareness that the white world view is no longer viable and that one must find a new identity. We go from admiring and wanting to be white to understanding that we don't belong in that world. And he just finished talking about, the dad anyway, was talking about when Martin Luther King was shot. He remembers that and how that impacted him and the people around him. He represented a dream, MLK did, of course, right? And so when he died, of course that had an impact. This is also referred to as vicarious trauma, meaning when we saw Trayvon Martin get shot, right? As a mother of a son who was around that age, freaked me out. I don't know Trayvon Martin, his family, right? But after seeing all the other execution of black people, you start to think, this is closer to home than we realize. And then you start getting anxious and scared and your body's intense, right? Having not even experienced anything like that. We can take on and download other people's trauma and pain. How does that impact the way you do your relationships, right? You carrying everybody else's stuff and yours, and you wonder why we want to like shy away and put walls up and we don't trust people. Makes sense to me, right? Girl, what? Holding your dad's younger you? I'm gonna cry. Because although my dad and I are not speaking now, again, a lot of what got me through overcoming my daddy issues to an extent, so that it doesn't have me in a chokehold, is really seeing him as human, seeing him as the traumatized little boy. And oh my God, they did it in the show. She held her daddy's younger self. I can't. Oh, Sister Annie. She didn't let it go. Y'all, we try to forget what the traumas are on purpose by saying we really don't remember, or our brain will actually lock it away. Straight up. Immersion, step 3 of negrescence, where the person withdraws into blackness and the black world. I'm here and I love it, right? Like, I didn't realize being black and in this space was so special. That's immersion. Still got this other thing. Moon crickets? See you next trip. I have never heard that in my life. Oh my gosh. I love it. All I need from you is $10, your signature, and some ID. And also, which is really exciting, is that they found me. That's what Dad said. Edwin said they found me. He needed that. They wouldn't even let him get the certificate. And now he is holding his own younger child.
It's not fair that you don't get to help me. But I'm okay. We're okay because we're safe. We don't have to run away in the middle of the night.
Can you imagine the responsibility he feels?
That stops here with us.
I don't trust that though. Shit about to trust you.
She just hit him with a word. She said that stops here. We don't have to show out to be safe or to feel safe. You're not responsible, right? I am responsible is a huge narrative that we, especially in situations like him, take on as kids because too much was put on us as kids. We were responsible for things not even mature enough for. And here's immersion. The last step, the acceptance of the many different ways to be black. He said, I don't trust that therapy shit, but I trust you. So he's accepting some pieces, right? Some people go to therapy that are black. Some black people don't go to therapy. They watch TikTok. Dang. So daddy is driving a car illegally. I mean, that's cool. You know, he's been scarred by the system. He's trying to do his best. Going back to default, trauma responses, survival mode. I do what I got to do, right? Let's see what happens. I'm disappointed because I want him to be okay. So we'll just see. What is daddy gonna do? Let's get into episode 7. Maybe by then my braids will be gone. You know?